Now we've got a really cool between rounds deck here. We're finally getting around to our second Casey Jones deck. Our first one went pretty reasonable. It was like a Rakdos Earthshell, although I think this is a much better shell for Casey. So Casey is a 3 mana 4/3. When it enters the battlefield, you draw 3 cards, and at the beginning of your next upkeep, you discard 3 at random. So the idea is that in this shell, we're trying to break this card by being able to consign that trigger on your next upkeep. So that this trigger goes in the stack, you consign it, and you get to keep those cards that you drew. Also, just being able to helping hand Casey Jones is very, very powerful. You can like loot it away, and then helping hand just draw a bunch of cards. You can also go cast Casey, pitch cards of Force of Negation, and then have fewer cards to discard. You can go cast Casey, and then you can fill up the yard for your Phlage or Winternight Stories and or Faithless Looting. You have a good bit of cards to discard for value. You can go play Tamiyo, cast Casey Jones, flip Tamiyo. A lot of stuff to like about the shell, and also the shell kind of just incidentally gets to play Obosh. We have played this shell before, this like looting helping hand Oculus deck, and getting companions are very good, and we wouldn't really be making a lot of changes to facilitate Obosh. The big thing would be maybe Wrath Disguise. All right, on the play, reveal Obosh. Keep this. Hopefully, can find a helping hand for the Oculus here. Have 2 good cards to discard with Winternight and Force. Hey, Donna. Put us on the Mold 6 here. Oh, sorry. That was 100 Burton. I went 4-3, missed day 2. I played Dimir Flash. I beat Dimir Flash Mirror. I beat Affinity. I beat Surveillance combo. I lost a really frustrating match to Tron where I had 4 Field of Ruin activations, and I chose wrong all 4 times, and it was like it is what it is. But that was kind of frustrating. And then okay, let's keep a helping hand and probably just save the looting now. Well, yeah. And then I lost to Living In. It was a really good grindy match that I just kind of got out top decked at the end. And then I beat Storm. Actually, this next match I beat Storm. I was late to my table and I got a game 1 loss and I won the match. And then I lost to Storm after they top deck Past in Flames game 3. And that was my tournament. Nope. Although they also have an Archon in the yard, which is kind of scary. How has it been repeating your downfalls to each individual chatter? It's just another day at the office, man. All right, I guess we'll discard the blue cards because we can't cast them. Might be able to flashback Winternight Stories off the Oculus next turn. Funny matchup. All right, we hit a Phlage, so if we draw a land, we can attack for 11 here. Let's hope they don't have the card Persist. That card would be good here. Emperor Bones, much worse because we have the Prismatic Ending. They should not target their Archon. Yeah, this is a big mistake because now if I have removal spells, then I basically get to exile the Archon. Oh yeah, imagine if I had drawn a land here. All right, let's just do it. I drew a land. I get to manifest Phlage, and I get to kill the Emperor of Bones. They can't even have Force of Negation. I get to attack for 11. Wasn't this turn great, chat? Clip it. Oh dang, round 4 is about to start. Oh my gosh, they got so punished for exiling the Archon. Guys, we drew the land. Now we get to transform Phlage. I could target the Oculus so I could attack for 2 with the Manifest. That doesn't make, I think, much sense compared to just killing the token. And I don't think there's much reason to attack with this Manifest because it's just a free-ish block. The -1 counter on the Oculus here is pretty bad, I suppose. Yeah, I thought I was in good spirits on Friday. This is really, really nuts when you get to manifest a Phlage. I like this deck a lot. We keep winning and then we keep having to drop for the challenge. Or at least the challenge is going fast, you know. Maybe I'll try to play this on the other monitor. I don't know. Let's sideboard. Maybe my opponent won't show up. I'm having just so much fun over here, but we're also 2-1 in the challenge. Don't want to just spew there. Don't always love Force of Negation in these matchups, but we only have a couple graveyard hate pieces. I'm gonna go down a Tamiyo, down the Sevinne's Wreck. Might go down a Phlage. Kind of not very good at multiples. They have Emperor Bones too. Could maybe go down a Looting. Any hindsight evaluations from Friday's challenge? Well, the Boros matchup is, or the Prowess matchup is tough. I'm not sure how easy it's going to be to address that. All right, so the challenge round 4 started. Let's go ahead and take a peek over here. We did lose the die roll. My opponent is here. I'm going to keep my 7 on the draw. Over in this other game, my opponent's gone Delta Go. I've gone Hallowed Fountain Tamiyo. Could be Jeskai. I guess could be Boros. Could be blue-white control. Could now just be Jeskai or blue-white. Or I guess maybe Espergorios it could be. My opponent's thought seizing me here, which kind of stinks because my hand is like, it's very Force of Negation heavy. The thing is, like it's just still like I have a force in their hand. You can't reanimate something. I'm not going to pitch force to conceal info there. They graveyard a mountain after some deliberation. They play a Steam Vents and then they pass. Jeskai matchup should be pretty good. Obviously, always a little bit scared of Felia plus Riddler in these kind of spots. Oh, they didn't have a Felia. So why do they shock in the Steam Vents and then do nothing? I guess Galvanic Discharge would be a reason. Let's go ahead and evoke a Null Drifter. Main deck Consign. Pretty good. I guess that's another reason to shock. Yeah, just gonna pass back. This other game is developing kind of weird, but I'm gonna try to still double queue here. For better or for worse. Do they have Phlage plus Okay, I thought for a second we were about to get Phlage plus Consigned. My hand is interesting, let's say. Could get a hasty Phlagey here. They're thinking on the discard. They do discard a Phlage, and they do have a fetch land, so I'm probably gonna lose this game. My hand is 3 Emeralds. I'm pretty far away from casting them. Like, I can't top the K command to bail me out this time. Because I only have 1 colorless. In this other game, I'm about to go Casey Jones with Consign up. Go ahead and show this turn. So I forced a negation to Thoughtseize so I could protect the Casey Jones, and then they fatal pushed my Tamiyo. So unfortunately, the KC isn't going to be able to flip the Tamiyo. And now I can either flashback Winternight Stories, or I can play the Ghost Vacuum. Let's go ahead and play the Ghost Vacuum instead. And Next turn, we are going to be able to consign the next turn we can go consign Casey Jones trigger, Winternight Stories, flash or discard Abhorrent Oculus, then Helping Hand back the Oculus into play, all with Force of Negation up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take my draw real quick and concede. Tough game 1, although this matchup should be pretty good. Let's go ahead and sideboard real quick, and then maybe we can finish the other match with my opponent's sideboarding. I'm going to cut both copies of Engineered Explosives. I think I'm going to play all 3 copies of Mystical Dispute. I don't know how much I care about the Solitudes. I mean, I care a little bit about them. Like, yeah, I guess against April especially. Maybe I do want, I probably want second Consign, or second Vexing Bauble. I don't know that I want any Consigns. They're okay against Felia. Yeah, I probably do want like 1 or 2. The bindings are kind of, they're fine. I don't know if it's what the game is about. I'm gonna play 1. Then maybe only 1 Vexing Bauble. Maybe I can trim a Talisman. So let's go ahead and tab back over here. My opponent is playing their own copy of Oculus. Now, when we Helping Hand our Oculus, it enters tapped, and we won't be able to block. Huh, I could, yeah, I guess I replicate. Pretty cool. Alright, then we're gonna go flashback the Winternight Stories with Casey. Discard a creature card and Abhorrent Oculus, to be precise. Then Helping Hand the Oculus. And I think we'll Surveil instead of playing Tamiyo this turn, because you have to fetch Shock for Tamiyo. Cool stuff happening over here. My opponent is back in the other match. Let's see if we manifest a Phlage real quick. No, we don't. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this back on the other monitor. Sorry for the double kill. I just am kind of invested in this Casey deck. I have very, very, very borderline 7. I think it just has to be a mulligan. Yeah, it just has to be. It's like, I like having Consign plus Null Drifter. We can go turn with Vexing Bauble and cycle. We can cycle the K command. I think I would keep on the draw mulligan on the play. And I think I just have another 1-lander that I would maybe even keep on the draw mulligan on the play. Just like we have Rumble, we just don't have a second land. Okay, my opponent was on a mull to 6 here. They do keep their 6. Still ahead on time in the other match. No, 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 come on. No! Magic Online! How? I don't even know how that happened. Fuck, dude. So frustrating. Yeah, Magic Online lagged through my turn. I don't even know how it happened because I thought for sure I only clicked it once. So, like, it's kind of impossible for it to happen if it happens once. So frustrating. The Stone Rain me with a Consign. Can do our best from here still, but very frustrating sequence there. So, like, last turn, I would have been able to fire off this K command on the Felia. It's kind of funny that we were able to bait a Consign on the Utopia Sprawl, though, this way. Although they would have been tapped out. For whatever that's worth. It might still be in fine shape, but again, just an annoying sequence there. I try not to let it tilt me too much. They do get a Surveil off. They do keep a card on top. They dash Ragavan. They exile an April O'Neil. They have already played their land, so thankfully they won't be able to cast it. My headphones are playing the end of a Bad Bunny song where he's just saying a bunch of Spanish in my ear. So it's kind of hard to think. They play a Vexing Bauble. So they won't be able to Solitude my April. I do have a second April here. I kept that back up there and got in there. Although, unfortunately, they have a dispute. Pretty brutal dispute as well. Into Charmaw. They have Ephemerate. Yeah, I don't know exactly how different this game is on the play, but I think we're... Or not on the play if we don't lag through a turn. But seems like it likely would have been really winnable. Pretty cooked. Unless I draw Cake Man. Classic. No, I did not draw Cake Man. Well, I guess we will never know if I had not lagged through my turn if we would have won that game. We're also still live in this match. We're going to be pivoting over to League stream, I suppose. My opponent discards an Archon of Cruelty. They go ahead and give up, which is good news. I don't even know how that happened. I swear I only clicked Yield through turn one time. It looks like you clicked at the beginning of the turn. Yeah, that's probably it then. It says, well done, Ty. Thank you. Okay, so can jump from the challenge over there. We're 1-0 now in this league with Jeskai Jones. We played a bunch of other matches, but we scooped most of them to focus on the challenge. Maybe we should have been locked in on this one here. Deck is looking pretty good. Compared to the Rakdos build, I've really liked casting Jones like at any point in the game. It's felt like one of the best cards too. Okay, interesting hand. Let's go ahead and keep. Sure. And you do recap vids for tournaments. Could be a cool idea. Could be a cool idea. I would love to do more YouTube videos. For years, I'm like, I'd love to do more YouTube videos. I'd still love to do more YouTube videos. There's just also only so many hours in the day, and there's all, can't do a video for everything. The normal stream takes up a lot of time. All right, let's discard Casey, but then wait a turn so that I can have more mana on the Casey turn, and I can maybe flip the Tamiyo off the Casey trigger. So they Prismatic Ending my Tamiyo. And they play an Arid Mesa. So draw 3. So let's see if we find a Consign off the looting. Although we don't really... Our hand is very discardable here. Although we're doing some of the discarding ahead of time, I guess. That's probably fine to keep so that if we discard our Flooded Strand, we can still escape a Phlage. Tamiyo is really good against, or sorry, Narset's really good against us, so let's scared of that. Another Prismatic Ending. So hopefully we keep the Strand in hand. Only 40% for that to happen, though. Nice. So probably going to get Sacred Foundry. I also really like keeping the Sevinne's Wreck in my hand so that I can just bring a Casey Jones back next turn. So going to leave that in the yard. Going to leave the looting in the yard. Going to leave the Winternight Stories. Oh, I guess I have to. I guess I could excel looting. Yeah, the SCG Dallas is modern. I'm gonna go to that one. You want to go to Cincinnati, Matthew? They hit a Prismatic Ending off the Narset. Then they Solitude. So I guess I have to Sevinne's Wreck the Phlage, and then I could flashback, I suppose. I can't play the Casey into Narset. Um, Backup Narset would be really bad. I guess I just graveyard this and escape Phlage if they play another Narset. Or I guess I could flashback Sevinne's Wreck. All right, let's try to flashback Sevinne's Wreck. We know one of their 3 cards is a Prismatic Ending, so we're not like for sure that this is going to get countered. Then we can flashback the Winternight Stories also, maybe. Okay, so let's say yes to this, and we also just get to Helix them. We get to draw 3 cards. They may want to kill the Casey before this resolves so that I can't flashback the Winternight Stories. I've not found a Consign yet, although it's kind of okay because we just have, like, again, a lot of good stuff to discard. I really like that with this build, consigning the Casey trigger isn't the only thing, you know? All right, let's discard a Tamiyo. Like, we have the Helping Hands, we have good cards to discard, we have the Arena of Glory. We're a deck that likes to get to top deck mode. Yeah, I did drop the Chally. Unfortunately, had a we were down a game against Jeskai, but we lagged through a turn that like put a pretty winnable game into a very difficult game. Thunder Trap Trade-In. Sorry, I don't know. I should have been F6 here. They reveal Teferi, which will maybe try to save the Force for. We could lose the Force. And then they reveal an Orim's Chant. Good card to know about. So we do lose the Force, and we do find a Helping Hand. So I think I want to go Escape Phlage. Not with haste, though, so I can flashback Winternight Stories, and so that I can then bring back the Oculus. I know my opponent's hand is Prismatic Ending, Orim's Chant, to Fairy. One, two. I guess I should crack this fetch first. So that I'm not having to escape one of my graveyard cards here. All right, so then we flashback the Winternight. Okay, then we'll discard an Oculus. We'll give the Oculus a Helping Hand here. Then they're I mean, I guess I could bounce one of these. The Orim's Chant. I don't think they'll be. I guess they're gonna go to Fairy and ending this turn, and then not Orim's Chant. This was fine. I guess we put Consign or Looting into the graveyard for a little bit of value there. They play the Teferi first, so Consign offline. Then they go to combat. They're probably gonna go bounce. I don't know which one you bounce here. They bounce the Thunder Trap Trainer. Is this so they can try to? I mean, if they drew a white source off the Teferi -4 for turn, so they could kick the chant. Okay, they did do that. Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. So we do not want to see Narset revealed off this. Pretty bold not to minus on one of my things. I think it does make sense that they're drawing the white source. Maybe they drew it off the Teferi, though. They reveal Suppression Ray, which is the blue-white MDFC. Okay, so we pass back. We get a little bit of value off the Oculus. Maybe looking for another Phlage or another Oculus. Instead, we just get 2 fetch lands out of the deck, which is honestly isn't the worst. They plus the Teferi. Their hand is Prismatic Ending, 3 mystery cards. Oh, sorry, Suppression Ray mystery cards. So the Suppression Ray can tap 2 creatures, or tap all creatures. And you can pay any amount of energy to put a stun counter. Okay, so they can tap all my creatures here. Not a card you get to see that often. So, what do I do? Let me play Tamiyo and flashback a looting first. Okay, so let's now go to combat. And they're going to Suppression Ray, I guess. And then I'm going to Prismatic Ending the Fun Raveler. There's not a lot I'm leaving Consign up for. Oh, the interesting, they tapped the Steam Vent, so they can't Prismatic Ending end of turn. That might be a huge punt there. Suppression Ray Sorcerer. Yeah, but Teferi lets them play it at instant speed here. But it also could have let them play the Prismatic Ending. This maybe is a big old blunder, but we'll see. I think they kept the card on top. Yes. So maybe a Wrath the Skies, maybe an Orum's Chant. Let's go and put the Oculus into play under the Manifest here. So yeah, if they drew a sweeper, we still have the Phlage to get back. We have Helping Hand. Yeah, I did kind of forget about Obosh a little bit, but I don't think I would have used it till now, but maybe next turn. Okay, so Teferi's in play. They minus on the trainer so that they can cast their sweeper, I guess. Wait, they kept Narset? What am I missing? What am I missing? Then they reveal Supreme Verdict. Then they cast Trainer, so they just flubbed. All right, my opponent's pretty dead on board. I was gonna hasten Obosh there, but opponent didn't give me the chance. Okay, to up a game against Control, let's go ahead and bring in the 4th copy of Force of Negation. Don't know if we're going to be doing a lot else besides that. They did have a Gemstone Cavern, so maybe we could play 1 or 2 Charmaw. The thing is, I think I really want to be probably leaving in all the, because Narset is so bad against us, or so good against us. Maybe I just go down 1 Consign. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to play any Charmaws. I think this is probably a fine config. I'm a little bit worried about Graveyard Hate, but we do have Prismatic Endings and Forces. Hard hand to mulligan. Hard hand to keep. Let's keep. Just a tough matchup to click the mulligan button in. Okay, so we drew a Helping Hand, so I'm probably just going to go try to surveil this turn to give myself 1 extra, I guess 2 extra looks counting the draw step at maybe we should consign this ETB. They do reveal it's a fairy. I don't know, the surveil is also really nice. I'm going to keep a land here though. Let's cast a looting. Then there's a Casey. So now, but the problem is right now they have a Teferi. So if I Helping Hand the Casey, I'm not going to be able to. I'm not going to be able to consign the rebound. Do I just have to be okay with that? Alternatively, I could plan to Prismatic Ending the Teferi. Okay, yeah, let's plan to that. Let's plan to just Prismatic Ending Teferi next turn. I can't get Delirium without discarding the Consign, which kind of defeats my whole plan here. Oh, but they cast Stock Up instead. Okay, I mean, I guess now we'll go for a Helping Hand, but maybe we've been had a little bit. So I guess we'll surveil, see if we find an Oculus for the other helping hand. We do not. Do I heat the trainer? Heating the trainer is a little bit weird. I don't have to discard an extra card here though. They might also play something besides Teferi, although I think that they probably will not. They don't necessarily know. Or they minus on the Casey. That's interesting. So discard 3 at random. Now we want to discard a Casey and keep helping hand, which did not happen. Although now we can go. Oh, we were 1 red short. So why don't we instead? Maybe I want to. Maybe I want to heat and then Obosh. I feel like the heat is really nice to double spell. I just don't know if this counts as double spell. Yeah, let's go heat and then Obosh, and then if my opponent just holds up counter magic, we jam Obosh. Otherwise, we jam Casey. Yeah, it's a very, very good against the Casey Consign plan, huh? So that's the reason why we cut 1. They trained their Thunder Trap here. They reveal an Orim's Chant. Just gonna time walk me with that, maybe. I don't think their build plays a lot of actual counterspell is one thing here too. They do not Orim's Chant. I'm gonna go ahead and let's jam the Obosh. It's not an amazing play. If it needs a counterspell, that's a good exchange. You're gonna have to do something to it. We might get chance locked. I don't know. Nice to still have lands to play. They plus the Teferi, 7 cards in hand. Stock up main face. They reveal a sink off the Narset. Probably going to have to go to game 3. I'll concede to a chant. Not so the challenge. Unfortunately. Maybe I want 1 less consign. I don't really have much to bring in though. Okay. On the play for game 3. I think mulliganing this on the play. This hand's worse. I guess we're going to 5. But going to 5 on the play in this matchup is a little bit of a disaster, I guess. I'll put these 2 back, though. Not the worst 5. Guess I get Archive for Helping Hand and Tamiyo. Yeah, I think we came here to do this. Okay, nice we drew a Consign. Although we didn't draw another land. Good way to unmulligan to 5. They main face Solitude Tamiyo. Then they play an untap or tap sink. I think we should just replicate. There's really, I think, not much reason to. I mean, I could draw like Tamiyo or Looting, I guess, but we don't have one of those in our hand, and they Solitude this. Wow. So we all of a sudden we mulled to 5, but now we're way ahead on cards. Although I think my opponent's doing this because they have a Planeswalker. So having Heat is nice, I guess, although not the best possible. Days Undoing. Interesting. Okay. Do I haste the Casey? I don't think so. I think I just want my mana for next turn, especially with me having Consign in hand. Days Undoing is a fun one there. And now we get to go pass with Force up. Although we actually now have to discard the hand size. So we discard 1, 2, I think. So Force the Teferi. They're thinking about Solituding. Gotta flash back the Winternight. Okay, let's discard Casey, but just surveil this turn. I think, yeah, keeping this is fine. I can flip the Tamiyo next turn, maybe. Once I crack a fetch, I have Delirium, so if they go Narset or Teferi, we can heat, unless they also kick Ormschant or something. They have 7 cards in their hand. Yeah, Casey's been pretty good. I've been liking Casey. They bounce again, though, because they're going to chant, I guess, which is a bit annoying. So obviously we're hoping not to get locked out of the game. They got 6 cards in their hand. It's a lot of cards. They reveal a stock up. Has a land, so they could stock up. They can stock up at instant speed, though. Okay, let's graveyard that. Untap. No chant, please. I want to play Magic. All right. So, let's think for a second. I have Delirium. I think that we effectively always should be starting with Heat on Narset. Okay. I want to flip my Tamiyo too. I think I want to haste the Casey so I can kill the Teferi kind of passively. This is maybe worse than Prismatic Ending the Teferi and Helping Hand. Don't really know. I love drawing that Consign and the Force, so I guess we're just kind of in on the Casey hitting the Teferi or not to some extent. So they're gonna look for a Solitude off the stock up. Okay, we connected. We could Helping Hand again, but then we have to discard the hand size, so let's just chill. All right, I'm going to go Force, Pitch, Oculus, I think. The Oculus is obviously very good, but I need to be able to force a Narset or another Teferi, I think. This was a Mold of 5. They play a Steam Vents untapped. Stock up can resolve, I think. Then they play a Soul Guide Lantern. Could consign this, I guess. Then but then I could like minus on the best card. Okay, let's consign that. Yeah, I know I've got the Casey trigger, but I think it's better to just let the Casey trigger happen because I think my graveyard is just too valuable. Maybe I'm wrong about that. So here I can either pick up Force of Negation or I can pick up another Helping Hand to draw 3. Yeah, maybe I should let the thing resolve. I also have Obosh. Let me attack for 4, see if my opponent solitudes the Casey. It's not very likely, but it would make minus on Helping Hand on Casey better. Thanks, Gab, and all the yellow hats out there. -1 mana means I can't Obosh in hand and just hold up Hardcast Force too. But yeah, let's just draw 3. Bit weird. No, it might obviously end up backfiring too, but we'll see. I have an island here, so I can't escape the Phlage right now. I guess we could go discard Phlage, maybe discard I guess we could discard a Strand. And then we might as well Helping Hand the Casey, because the Helping Hand's probably going away. And we found an Oculus to cast. Hard to evaluate turn. Again, maybe I just messed up pretty bad consigning the Lantern, but I mean, figuring out lines is fine. I mean, the Lantern not being in play let me do this with my graveyard, so I genuinely have no idea. We're gonna have to discard 3 cards in our upkeep, and I don't think this hand minds that so much. I'm gonna keep an upkeep stop to heat a Narset, maybe in response to Orm's Chant or something like that. We also found a Phlage off the Manifest to flip up. My opponent kicks a Thundertrap Trainer, their favorite line. Likely looking for Orm's Chant to kick. That'll still let us plus the they found a Narset. That'll still let us plus the Tamiyo, flip the Phlage, and maybe Unholy Heat. They find a Suppression Ray, they find a Narset, they've got 4 other cards in their hand. Let me heat in response to the discard 6, since we're gonna lose the heat. So I forgot about the other trigger here, but I think that's kind of chill. We can't minus the Narset. Oh, they do have an Orm's Chant. Okay. So I guess I can Obosh plus Tamiyo, Obosh in hand, and flip the Manifest. Don't. Okay, then they Solitude in the Suppression Ray. So their hand is Narset 2 mystery cards. This is a Phlage, thankfully. They play the Narset. Minus the Narset. I don't believe we. Oh, they hit another Orm's Chant. I was about to say I don't believe we know any other cards. So I can maybe pick up a Force of Negation off the Tamiyo for next turn. So I guess let's go ahead and flip this up, and if I end up drawing a Force of Negation off the Days Undoing, we can force the Orm's Chant. Oh, I guess the Orm's Chant's getting shuffled away also. There's an Obosh in my deck now. They have a Solitude. We won with 2 challenge. I thought we were 2-2 the challenge. Maybe I'm misremembering. We also had like a misclick that lagged us through a turn of a pretty winnable game. Well, I guess my opponent could have nothing. It's not very likely. Maybe a tough matchup with all the Narsets. Opponent finds a Verdict. They draw 3 off Lorien Revealed. I like attacking before playing Looting is not what I do before arena play. You would cast this Looting into the Narset? Or oh yeah, there's a chant. Yeah, it's mistaken somehow for sure. Did not draw Phlage, have no Surveillance left. Fun match. Hard not to say this match was fun. It was a very weird game where we like multi-5 and they used Solitudes really aggressively, and we had like unmulliganed, and then all of a sudden, but we had unmulliganed, but then they had then they cast Days Undoing. This game was very odd, very fun. Boros again, Tron again, Prowess again. Like when I'm just not playing against Boros, Tron, Prowess is it's like, oh wow, I get to have a weird game. Opponent's on a Molda 6. Too many Thundering Falls. If I find Tamiyo, I really have wanted to held the Looting, and if I find Helping Hand, I can still Helping Hand next turn. So they Thoughtseize. They're gonna Thoughtseize by Looting? It's kind of an interesting exchange. They do take the Looting. I mean, I think you kind of have to here. Okay, they're not very likely to be playing Wand, but they could be. I'm going to prioritize getting Delirium for this heat also. For Frog. So, like, if I see, like, any instant is definitely going to the yard. Also, more cards in the yard anyway is good. I'll put a Casey Jones in the yard. Not Delirious, however. Maybe they'll get thirsty for the Phlage and cast an Emperor of Bones, and I'll get to heat it. A lot of Gorios today. Not that this is Gorios. We just played against it twice, right? Right, so did not find Delirium for the Frog. Let's see what we draw for turn. Huh. Well, let's do this, I guess. Let's see if we find Delirium ahead of time. We do. So now, maybe this is a little risky if they like draw Gorios or Trex or something, but I kind of want to give my opponent the ability to discard. I want to give them the ability to discard their whole hand to save the Frog. And then I just can heat it. again. I played Dimir Flash at the Hunter Burton. I missed day 2 at 4-3. Okay, so I can cast Oculus, I can cast Casey, I can cast Heat. I think I'm supposed to cast an... Oh, I guess if I cast Oculus, I lose Delirium. I think let's do it. I think it's a bit better to just wait. If you just have a good play and you could play that or Casey, it's just probably better to wait on the Casey. I wish this UI was better. So leave the Phlage in the yard. I beat the Dimir Mirror, I beat Affinity, I beat Sewer Valence combo, I lost to Tron, I lost to Living End, I beat Storm after having a game 1 game loss for being late, and then I lost to Storm. How do I feel about Blueback Flash in the event in general? Was a good decision. I thought it was a good decision. I think I played too many Bowmasters because there wasn't as much Boros as there is on Magic Online. I liked playing a deck that was easy to manage in paper after not playing in paper for a long time. Thought that was kind of nice. I did like the games I lost were like they were kind of like boring losses where I just feel have ruined the wrong Tron land. They just replayed it twice in games 1 and 3, and I lost their top deck Past in Flames. They were just like, well, okay, kind of losses, but sometimes that happens no matter what. All right, I think we just have another reasonable play. Just wait one more turn on the Casey. Like I think I would play Flash again if I had to run it back, but I'd probably be playing less Bowmasters. When was the last time you played a non-fetch land format in paper? It's a breath of fresh air. I've played some standard paper events, not that recently, but I just haven't been playing paper much at all lately. So we found a consign for the Casey. Beautiful hand here. We also have helping hand. I guess not a lot to do with the helping hand right now besides Helix them with Phlage. Maybe they'll kill my Casey. They ending my Tamiyo. All right, so let's consign. Should be pretty safe not to replicate. We can helping hand the Phlage, then we can consign the... Dude, this deck is sick. This deck is so sick. I think we might as well replicate this time. I don't think holding up the heat matters really at all. We don't have Delirium. Casey seemed really good too. Casey just like works so well with all the cards in the deck. I try not to forget about Obosh this game if they like solitude me. Well, I guess I just win if they solitude me. All right, dude. This deck feels good. Feels good. It's been feeling good all day. So their Goryo's deck, maybe we should have a little bit more graveyard hate. We have the Force of Negations and the Consigns, so like the Consigns up against the Living End, and so is the Force. Probably go down 8 and Unholy Heat. I don't know about the number of Force of Negations I want. Probably just need a 4th one since we're a little cold to Goryo's. We can cut a Sevinne's Wreck. Maybe I could cut a Phlage. Phlage is not so good against Goryo's. But like, I just love that Consign's really good with Casey, really good with Phlage, is kind of good in the metagame. Helping Hand good with Oculus, Casey, Phlage. Oculus, Phlage good with just being discarded in general. Oculus Manifest Phlage is really good. Looting is strong with all these cards. Casey flips Tamiyo. Looting flips Tamiyo. Tamiyo kind of likes when you're discarding cards. Force is really good when you just go Casey pass for something. So I don't know, the whole deck came together super well, and you just randomly get to play Obosh too. One Ashiok. I'm not a big fan of Ashiok when these decks just put all the stuff into play kind of at instant speed. Or maybe not at instant speed, but where Ashiok can't disrupt it. Alright, let's keep us put back the heat. You could also play Riddler. You could play Riddler. That was always allowed, I guess. High Noon isn't a good sideboard for this deck list. I think it's a very bad sideboard card. Yeah, this is a deck that really is trying to double spell. Yeah, I think this is a bad High Noon deck. Also, you know, you would lose Obosh. So like one thing with Obosh, it's kind of weird, right? Where we're playing Obosh pretty incidentally. Having Obosh is not like it's not that important for your game plan. That being said, like since you have it kind of incidentally, all of a sudden you do need to start making decisions like am I going to keep the Obosh post board with the sideboard card, or am I going to play a slightly worse thing maybe? Like we're doing that by not playing Wrath Disguise, by playing Meltdown and Fire Magic for Boros and Affinity. It's a lot more sideboard slots, but it lets you keep Obosh post board against Boros, and it's nice to have a companion post board against those kind of decks. I'm kind of into Prismatic Ending the Spell Bomb with the helping hand and the KC in hand. Let's try it. They didn't frog me last turn either. You also deny a Surveil, which is like not super big, but it's not nothing. They have 4 cards in their hand, they pass. All right. Definitely going to be a pretty high variance casting here. So they have Mending in response. They already pitched 1 Atraxa to Force of Negation. So they discard 2 Mendings and Agorios. All right, so okay, very high variance. Very high variance, but this could just be a good discard 3 end of turn. It's nice to have Force of Negation up also. This deck reminds me of your old DRC Phlage Looting Winternight deck. I did start with one of those shells. I don't think you can play DRC Bobble, though. It's just too many slots at this point. Incline with the 4 months. Welcome back. Appreciate you. Glad you're liking the stream. And Illusions, the 57 months. Not magic tricks. Illusions. Have you seen Arrested Development Illusions? So I discard the Oculus and the Helping Hand, but I drew a Surgical. I might just put Obosh in my hand here. Let's attack for 4 first. You have not? Yeah, there's a recurring joke about illusions. I would recommend it. Yeah, with the Surgical in hand, I think the Obosh just gets to shine some. Could this deck have a Monument sideboard pivot off the Oculi? If there's a ton of like Rest in Peace, then sure, like Leyline, that kind of cards. The artifact graveyard hate's just not that hard to fight through, I think, though. So you also don't have that much room for this kind of stuff, and also Monument's not like Monument when you're not playing Street Wraith and Cookbook is just not that good in Modern. It's not that bad either, but it's just not as good as it could be. Okay, so let's keep this, and then let's just plan on casting the Obosh this turn, although we might get Solituded. I think that's okay. And then next turn we can go Tamiyo Looting, flip Tamiyo, all with Surgical up. The hardcast Force of Negation is pretty real at this point in the game, so I think I'll get an island. So we get to attack for 8 with Casey. Maybe they'll go Solitude the Obosh and then block the Casey. Blocking Casey could be good if we draw an Unearth effect. Goodbye, sweet Obosh. +1 card, thank you. They're thinking about not blocking. I think not blocking is pretty dang reasonable with me having Unearths in my deck. Although I already have a good Unearth target. That's probably a good tiebreaker for them. I don't think it's wise to Surgical Helping Hand in these spots either, by the way. A little bit scared of this Frog. They have 2 cards in their hand, so if I find a Phlage, that's not going to be enough to get rid of it. Although now I've got a Unholy Heat, which is good. So let's cast a Tamiyo, let's cast a Looting. Kazar with the 30 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Hope you're doing well. They flash back a Faithful Mending in response. They have 1 more in the yard after this. They discard 2 lands. Pretty good. Let's discard these 2 for value. Flip the Tamiyo. I guess if my opponent has Ephemerate, I'm okay with them. I'm like really okay with them ephemerating the Frog. I guess it's probably better to play around no blue card for Force of Negation, though. than it is to like if they have Force of Negation, like the hard cast is not so different from the pitch at this point in the game. All right, so we got 2 lootings and a Phlage in the yard. We've got a Tamiyo that can maybe pick up some interaction. Okay, scratch that. Probably, or could be unwise to have played the frog into the Phlage here. I'm not sure. We'll find out in a second, I guess. Probably more likely to grab Force of Negation off the Tamiyo than the Helping Hand. Maybe that's not true. I guess that's actually just not. Yeah, it's not true. Yeah, should have left the Helping Hand for sure. That being said, hard to feel too bad with being way ahead on board and having a Surgical in hand against the Goryo's deck. How can you not talk about the Queen's Gambit anymore? I mean, I watched it from start to finish. I don't know what else there is to say. Okay, they got a Riddler. We can flip the Tamiyo with the looting this turn. Guess let's go ahead and start with that. So I could discard the Surgical if I wanted to kill the Riddler. Seems pretty dang risky to do that. Maybe attacking first to play around Solitude would have been better. Yeah, I don't think I'm that guy. I don't think we're doing that. Already Oboshed, by the way. I guess I'm gonna Surgical Thoughtseize or Surgical Solitude. Oh my gosh, should have targeted the Goryos, I guess. Now if they find a land off the Mending, we get Goryos. Hard to play around this being their exact hand. How to know Horizon's Modern look like? It would look boring. I don't know, not boring, but I don't know. Who cares? I'll care when that's the real Modern format. So hopefully they don't find an untapped land. They discard a Prismatic Ending and an Atraxa. Yeah, it would be very different, but it's just like, you know, we don't need to daydream. You don't need to painstakingly try to piece together what was lost. It's oftentimes better to instead try to enjoy the format that you do have. Guess we're gonna graveyard that. Get some value there. So yeah, why don't we just go attack with the Phlage, force them to chump block with the Riddler because we can escape another Phlage. And then minus on the Surgical. Maybe I should main phase Surgical to play around second copy of Goryos. It seems pretty reasonable. And then we can go Tamiyo, flashback Winternight Stories, flip Tamiyo. Heat Riddler and kill a flashback Phlage. The thing is, it's just a lot more vulnerable to my opponent having stuff. Yeah, they had this Force of Negation. Although now they are going to get to Goryos the Tamiyo. Maybe I flashback looting instead now. Maybe I flashback Winternight Stories to try to find my one of Ghost Vacuum. It also lets me find Force of Negation. So I don't want to play the Tamiyo because of Ghost Vacuum and Force of Negation. Nice. Would Minsc and Boot be too slow, clunky for Modern? I think it would be really very good if Minsc and Boot is the best Planeswalker ever printed. I think it's better than Oko. Would it absolutely destroy the format? No, there's like Bombardment and like I think Boros and Prowess and Storm would all be pretty good against it. But it's like Minsc and Boot is like a horribly designed card. It's just one of these cards that like, you know, maybe I wouldn't feel that it was so horrible if it was only designed for Commander, but it's also really 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 too good for Commander too. So I don't know. You know most cards printed into Modern by themselves would not destroy the format. very few cards even on the ban list actually destroyed the format. All right, on the draw for round 4, leading on a Mishra's Bauble. Blow my nose here. Let's get a Sacred Foundry. It's mostly just itchy. I think Tamiyo is I don't think you really like the flip planeswalkers. I don't think you really think I don't really think of them as planeswalkers. They are obviously, but I don't usually like try to rank them against Okom and Skimbu because they just play like they kind of play like value creatures, you know. So the opponent's acting like they got a Metallic Rebuke. Not gonna let this resolve. I'd love to find a consign for Saga Chapter 3 so they can't get like a lantern. I think Tamiyo and Johnny are both. Yeah, I agree. Tamiyo and Johnny are both better than Minskabu and Oko. I just don't know how if it exactly makes sense to compare them. I mean, you can do whatever you want. You can compare them, but I just usually don't think it's the same conversation. All right, well let's Unholy Heat a construct here before they graveyard hate me. I'm totally okay with them needling the Arid Mesa. I think if they don't get graveyard hate. I'm gonna do this before they can although they can have rebuke up still. No, this is a huge punt. Their last card's rebuke. Although they're gonna get to rebuke the heat anyways. Yeah, I guess we're probably dead. It's also having 2 high in Minskin Coup because the one format it's really good cube. It's also one of the best cards specifically because of Power 9. Yeah, I mean, just like the NBA conversations, best, better, what's the best? It's all just kind of really subjective and not very often a good productive conversation. So we're gonna hit for 13 this turn. So an escape Phlage doesn't save me unless with Arena of Glory. So we could surveil into Arena of Glory. We could go Casey Jones into Prismatic Ending. Helping Hand. Yeah, not there. So the Phlage escape doesn't get there. Yeah, I don't believe Helping Hand into Oculus does it because of the Oculus entering tapped. Ugh, tough. All right, so down a game against Affinity. Let's bring in some Meltdowns. I do like that Heat kills Imri. I might go down 1 copy. Probably gonna go down 1 Phlage, down a Sevinne's Wreck. I like the Force of Negation that game. 3 seems like a solid number. I could also see playing like 1 Charmaw. Let's play 1 less Winternight. Yeah, let's just do 1 Charmaw. Here's a good take for you. I think Saga is better than Kozilek's Command. I think that's crazy. I think the only card that to me I think could be stronger. I mean, I know this is just bait, but I'm taking it. Okay, hold on. What am I putting back here? I guess the Consign because we're gonna play Arena tap turn 1. I want to be able to like loot away potentially both of these. I think the only card that really makes sense to say might be better, stronger than K Command is Amulet, but I don't even know if that's true. I guess I'll force a Mox Opal. Yeah, I gotta force a Mox Opal now. Hopefully a streamer has a meltdown here. Counterspell better than cancel. What about spell snare? I guess this doesn't even keep them off Kappa. I guess I'll still ending. Could Casey Consign be done in Grixis as well? It's not enough long game without Phlage. The one thing that's really good is like Phlage is also good with Consign. So like with Grixis, you get access to like push and frog. I feel like I think I like what white has to offer more than black for this shell. And play another emissary or the emissary F4. Well, I guess this is affinity sometimes, although we're definitely playing to just escape Phlage off the Arena of Glory next turn and try to win with that. See if that's good enough. Not this turn, the turn after, of course. Best way to do that is going to be to get I guess a Hallowed Fountain and Flashback Looting. Did we test Kiora in the Grixis build? I mean, there is I don't know that there is a Grixis build. Well, I guess I'm keeping Helping Hand, but not finding a land here is sad. Oh yeah, it's just like Kroxa. You could play Kroxa in the Grixis build, but then it just seems tough to play that version when you could be playing this version. Okay, so I guess there's no way to tell for sure if they have Rebuke. On top land. Right, moving on. Bummer. I'm not like trying to go play more Magic for fun. I did play Magic for fun this weekend. It's just a casual 50 hours a week. I just have to really limit myself. Did ever try MH3 Sword with Phlage? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have. Okay, so we're gonna graveyard Casey Jones here. If I had another white source in my hand, I do have another white source. Okay, let's go Helping Hand to Casey. And Steam Vince Prismatic Ending. Oh no, sorry, can't. Hallowed Fountain Prismatic Ending. Popular arena creator recently posted Bardu Titanless as a Doorkeeper Thrill. Sad I can't heat this. Sounds fun. Doorkeeper Thrill a bit awkward with Casey, of course. Yeah, looks like I guess I could discard both of these and then heat the voice. But then I will have discarded my Oculus, which seems a bit silly. So now we have Delirium, so we can go heat, we can go Escape Phlage or heat plus Oculus next turn. Either seem fine. I'm going to leave the Casey Jones back to block since it seems like we're winning the long game at the moment. Has anyone played with random effects in paper? How does it work? Like shuffle your hand and opponent picks. You can do that, or you can shuffle and roll die. Rolling die is you should do that. You should have your opponents roll die because you don't know if your opponent saw one of the cards and is gonna like grab it. Right, I think we're gonna go for this first. Yeah, we ended up going. I think it was 2-2 dropping the challenge. Magical Land lagged through like a really critical turn, which was very frustrating too. Casey Jones with Nightmare and Scourge Familiar. So that does loop your deck, right? Draw 3, discard them. I guess you have to have another creature that you can loop with the Nightmare. Kind of cool. So we could go Helping Hand Phlage and then Consign the trigger. I think I'm gonna get like moderately greedy here and not apologize for it. Yeah. I refuse to apologize. Okay. Exile. Sorry about that. 1, 2, 3. So if they flip the Ajani now with like a discharge, we can attack with the Oculus. Thanks, Jess. Yeah, this deck is really sick. I was really happy with how it came together. I'm still struggling on the Rat King. We also have Kitsune's Technique Mill to do when it comes to turtles. We might play a little bit more Surveillance. I'd like to play a little more April too. I like April. I like the April Eldrazi deck. So I guess they're setting up to haste their own Phlage, which is fine, I guess. Yeah, a Vigilante with no vigilance. You'll never make it in this career path with no vigilance. So then they kill my Phlage. We have to consign the I guess we don't have to consign the reflexive trigger. I mean, we should. Okay, they're gonna go after my Oculus. So yeah, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna consign the reflexive trigger, take 6, and then just Phlage, and then Phlage from hand to kill this. I guess I could also block and I could escape Phlage. Let's take it. This Port of Calamity sub well with April would occupy the same role. I mean, you could play Port. I mean, I just think Port's not very good. It's really high variance. It's really like clunky. It is nice that you can kind of cycle it early, but it just isn't very good. It's like kind of fine is how I think of that card. Guys, I want to cast Casey. Let's not. Let's kill the Phlage. Could April fit into Eldrazi turns? Yeah, maybe. I do think April's very good in Eldrazi. It's a bit weird where April kind of occupies the same space as Jace does. But April is pretty bad with Temporal Mastery. Okay, now we can play a new Casey. I want to so bad. I'm gonna be good streamer. Have you tried a no land spy deck with Creeping Chill and Vengevine? In modern, that's called Oops All Spells, is what they call that deck, and it's fine. It's just a normal modern deck that's like, you know, it's not like a brew that you'd have to like figure out. It's one that just is a pretty known quantity. I see you, those calling it No Land Spy. I know what you are. Legacy player. Oh, I guess it probably didn't need to float the mana like this. There's not much else I can haste besides an Oculus. I guess, yeah. Oh, they just concede anyways. All right, Boros matchup, easy peasy. They have to crash Magic Online in order to have a chance. That's not even letting me. Any plans to test Necro Coolbet Root? No, I think it's not good. Like, it will be good when you have a Necro in play and you are discarding 10 plus cards to Necro and you have spent 4 mana on Coolbet Root. I think that Coolbet Root is worse than Shieldred in general. They're kind of similar, like 4 mana cards that win the game when you're going off with Necro. Shieldred's I think a lot better because it's a black card. You can pitches to stuff, and it also is easier on your mana. But Shieldred also stabilizes you. Shieldred stabilizes you in a way that Coolbet Root does not. Maybe Coolbet Root lets you kill a little bit faster, but I think in those situations where you have enough life to pay with Necro, Like these just aren't games you're losing very often. You're gonna lose some percentage of them for sure. But I just don't think you're losing those games often enough to be like, I'm playing this really like slow, clunky card that kind of does nothing. Probably this card is good, but they're going to be bringing in Graveyard Hate, and so I think it's just a little clunky against that too. Maybe down to Looting. So does that make sense? It's like I know everyone has been wanting Cold But Rude Necro. The only way you could do it is if you rebuild Necro in like just a really different way, which maybe you could do that, but you would just need Cold But Rude to be good in situations that are not just winning the game with Necro. Bit worried we're gonna get discharge. I think I should still play the Tamiyo first though. I foresee that your time to cut into standard is soon. Format is healthy and diverse as ever. Deep card pool impacted by every set. Maybe. I mean, I'm liking modern at the moment, but I'm not opposed to dancing around in other formats. Gonna play a no ban list challenge tomorrow. Might be the last one. We'll see. Definitely tune in if that's the kind of stuff you want to see, because it might be the last one. I don't know. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. How do you do 100 burn? 4-3, not make day 2. Done a bunch of recapping already, but I'll do one more. I beat the Dimir Mirror. I beat Sewer Valence combo. I beat Affinity. I lost to Tron. Guessed wrong on my Field of Ruins a bunch. Then I lost to Living End. Very fun, grindy matchup. I think my opponent played great. And then I had a game 1 loss against Storm. Won anyways. I think let's hold up mana this turn. Game 1 loss against Storm, won anyways. Then I lost to Storm after they top decked the Past in Flames, and then I went home and ate a McFlurry. My first one in like a year. I love McFlurries, but I've been like, staying healthy and dieting and stuff. But I'm just at my goal weight now, so can have an occasional treat. All right, so let's keep this. My opponent is maybe going to Thraben Charm my graveyard now. Maybe they're going to do it in response. I guess they should do it now if they have Thraben Charm, because I could just go like Arena of Glory, get you. Yeah, okay, so let's go Plains Tamiyo Obosh. Any chance to revisit your second place challenge list this week? I guess there's a chance. If the Friday challenge happens and I don't have another deck I want to play, then sure. No, I just do the Ibid and McFlurry. I just love that thing. Yeah, I think this deck is sick. They have another discharge. Maybe they're just discharge Phlage and they're thinking, God, maybe not. They pass. Okay, we can play Obosh. We can double the damage we deal with Tamiyo. All right, go to work, Obosh. I told you you're gonna want this card against them. Never mind. Interesting that they wouldn't haste here. I feel like you probably want to haste. Very good couple cards for them to have. I'm tired, y'all. I need a McFlurry. Alright, my graveyard got nuked. I don't have Delirium. Alright, game 3 on the play. Very sad to just have all removal in hand and never cast it in time. Are we still having fun with the Johnny? There's supposed to be a BNR next week, right? Well, it's because we cast Obosh. Yeah, I guess so. It's hard to play around Purge into Spyro into a Johnny. I don't know that. I don't know if that really makes any sense. Hard matchup to Mulligan in. Kind of a reasonable hand. Let's keep. I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna lead on the Fountain. Fountain Tamiyo. Maybe I should Surveil first. I think you could be okay there. Cast a few spells in Oculus. Maybe. I would love to see something get banned from Boros at the next BNR, whenever it is. You're probably tilted. I can see. I thought I was super dead. I didn't. If I could have like dumped my hand to cast an Oculus, then maybe I should have. But I thought I was. I could have killed the Johnny. But maybe I was less dead than I thought. But I did concede because I thought I couldn't win. Hopefully they play a creature I can Phlage this turn. They graveyard a Guide of Souls. They upkeep Discharge. Alright, let's hold the Fire Magic for Johnny, Spyro, Ragavan, blah, 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 blah. Instant speed Fire Magic in response to a Johnny. Answers clean board, you take 0. I didn't have... What do you... This is in response to why did I concede? Because I couldn't cast the... I couldn't cast the Fire Magic in response to a Johnny because I tapped out for Obosh. Surely this comment is not about me. Surely this is not a comment about me not casting the Fire Magic because the Johnny was already flipped. Dude, Blood Moon into Legend of Roku's tough. They hit Guide, Pride, Guide. Okay, so let's hold up the Fire Magic, I guess. Might be able to discard Oculus to hand size and helping hand it. Might helping hand Tamiyo. So I have 3 types in the yard for Delirium for Unholy Heat. Best draw by a lot is Casey Jones. Yeah, I guess we helping hand Tamiyo and then heat the Legend of Roku. We're not gonna have time to discard the hand size because we have to heat the Legend of. Oh my gosh, the Tamiyo going away. Damn it. So I guess if I draw any land, I can go Phlage plus heat. But I forgot that this would remove Delirium for me. Maybe they'll just kill it though. Okay, thankfully I guess. They also don't have a second white source for the Phlage at the moment. I guess I maybe should have heated first too. They didn't sack the bombardment. I'm saying the turn you conceded, you should have passed in Fire Magic, but I meant the odds of winning were low. The turn you conceded, you should have passed in Fire Magic and Johnny 0 to try to deal damage. Yeah, you're right. We weren't 0%. I'm sorry for conceding. I did feel like we were pretty behind, but you're right. We had some lines there. It might be better to target an elemental token. I guess they already have a Seasoned Pyromancer to bring back. And they get to jump something. I think if we drew a Casey Jones earlier to like cycle a little bit, maybe we had a chance. Can play Obosh, but we're pretty dead. Obosh, block 1, take 5, and then they Spyro to kill me. Okay. Well, cool deck. I had a lot of fun with this one. I would play it again for sure. I might play Casey Jones again in the Mardu deck. Crush Boros game 1 and lost the match. I don't know. That game 2 was really like felt like we were just about to easily crush the match and then we lost. So I don't know. Tomorrow morning we're gonna play No Banless Modern Challenge. I don't know if this is gonna be the last one. I always knew No Banless Modern was gonna be like not the longest foray.